Forget what you think you know about global hunger. While headlines often point to droughts, floods, and poor harvests, the truth about Africa's food insecurity is far more calculated. Behind every empty bowl lies a web of international interest, economic manipulation, and geopolitical control. Hunger in Africa is not merely a humanitarian crisis, it is a political weapon. When the media talks about famine, it often points to natural causes, failed rains, locusts, or climate change. But these are only parts of the story. The deeper cause lies in who controls Africa's ability to feed itself. For decades, African nations have been encouraged, even pressured, to grow cash crops for export: cocoa, coffee, cotton, and tea. These crops fill supermarket shelves in the West, but leave local markets bare. When global prices fall, farmers starve. When prices rise, consumers at home suffer. Either way, Africa loses. This was not accidental. International trade structures were designed to keep Africa economies dependent, exporting raw materials and importing finished food products at inflated prices. The result? A continent rich in soil, yet hungry by design. Under the banner of development aid, powerful institutions like the IMF and World Bank imposed structural adjustment programs that slashed agricultural subsidies, privatized food systems, and opened African markets to cheap foreign imports. Local farmers simply couldn't compete. In Ghana, rice farmers lost entire livelihoods when imported rice flooded the market. In Nigeria, dairy producers were crushed under the weight of subsidized European milk powder. And in Kenya, small-scale maize farmers watched their prices collapse as foreign companies dominated supply chains. The message was clear: Africa could produce food, but not for Africans. The economic model ensured dependence on global suppliers and donors, turning food into a tool of influence. Food and security are now intertwined more than ever. In regions like the Sahel, hunger is not just a symptom, it is a strategy. Militants recruit from starving communities while foreign powers use food aid to gain political loyalty. When international forces intervene in conflict zones, they often control food distribution routes. In effect, whoever controls food controls power. In Sudan, in Somalia, and even parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, warring factions have used hunger as a weapon, cutting off supplies to punish populations or force migration. Meanwhile, Western powers use humanitarian assistance to project soft power, ensuring geopolitical alignment under the pretext of compassion. Multinational agribusiness now dominates Africa's agricultural landscape. They control the seeds, fertilizers, and technologies farmers depend on. Patented seeds replace indigenous varieties, locking farmers into expensive cycles of dependency. Giant corporations decide what is grown, where, and at what cost, not African farmers. Even the continent's fertile lands are being quietly leased or sold off to foreign investors in what activists call land grabs. Countries like Ethiopia, Mozambique, and Tanzania have lost millions of hectares of this new form of agricultural colonization. It is not just about land, it is about control. Control over food, control over water, and control over survival. Foreign aid is often presented as generosity, but it is rarely neutral. Food aid in particular has long been used as a diplomatic lever. The nations that provide it expect loyalty, policy alignment, and access. When an African nation refuses to comply with Western political interest, aid slows down or stops entirely. When it plays along, it flows generously. Thus, hunger becomes a bargaining chip in the political game, traded for votes, influence, and access to markets. Yet, across Africa, a quiet resistance is growing. From Nigeria to Rwanda, from Kenya to Senegal, farmers are reclaiming traditional crops, rediscovering indigenous seed banks, and rebuilding local food systems. Youth-led cooperatives, community farming networks, and Pan-Africa trade initiatives are emerging to challenge the foreign grip on African agriculture. The message is powerful. Africa can feed itself if it reclaims its right to do so. So the next time you see images of famine on your screen, ask yourself, who benefits from this hunger? Behind every empty plate lies a system designed to keep it that way. Africa's food insecurity is not an accident, it is architecture. And until the continent tears down the structures of dependency and control, its people will continue to starve in the shadow of abundance. Because hunger in Africa is not just about food, it is about power. Africa doesn't need more pity, it needs power. Doesn't need another handout, it needs a fair chance. If this story moved you, don't just scroll away. Share this video, drop your thoughts in the comment section, and join the conversation about Africa's right to feed itself. Every view, every voice, every share helps expose the truth about hunger and pushes the call for real change. So hit subscribe, stay informed, and let's keep building a louder, stronger Africa. One story, one truth, one voice at a time. Because the fight against hunger isn't about food alone. It is about freedom.